Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 8 of chapter 11. Natu mam shakyase drashtum.
Natu mam shakyase drashtum.
Anenaiva svachakshusha.
Anenaiva svachakshusha.
Divyam dadami te chakshuhu.
Divyam dadami te chakshuhu.
Pashyame yogamaishwaram.
Pashyame yogameshwaram.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Na,
Ne,
never,
never,
tu,
tu,
but,
mam,
me,
me,
shakyase,
shakyase,
are able, drashtum,
drashtum,
to see, anena,
anen,
with these,
with these,
eva,
certainly,
svachakshusha,
swachakshusha,
your own eyes,
your own eyes,
divyam,
divyam,
divine,
dadami,
I give, te,
te,
to you, chakshuhu, eyes, pashya, see, me, my, yogam aishwaram, inconceivable mystic power.
Inconceivable mystic power.
Translation. But you cannot see me with your present eyes.
But you cannot see me with your present eyes.
Therefore I give you divine eyes.
Therefore I give you divine eyes.
Behold my mystic opulence.
Behold my mystic opulence.
So Prabhupada writes in the purport that a pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any form except his form with two hands. A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind but with spiritual eyes. To see the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is told not to change his mind but his vision. The universal form of Krishna is not very important. That will be clear in subsequent verses. Yet, because Arjuna wanted to see it, the Lord gives him the particular vision required to see that universal form. Devotees who are correctly situated in a transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulences. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, and the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. They are so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In their loving exchange, they forget that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the boys who play with Krishna are all highly pious souls. And after many, many births, they are able to play with Krishna. Such boys do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They take him as a personal friend. Therefore, Shukadev Goswami recites these words, Ittam satam brahma shukhan bhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena maya shrishtanam naradarakena sakam vijahruhu kritapunya punjaha. Here is a supreme person who is considered the impersonal Brahman by many great sages, the supreme personality of Godhead by devotees, and a product of material nature by ordinary men. Now these boys who have performed many, many pious activities in their past lives are playing with that supreme personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada is writing here that devotees have no interest in seeing the Lord in his opulent form. Because the minute you see the Lord in his opulent form, there is a distance between you and the Supreme Lord. Reverence creeps into the relationship, and therefore that relationship turns into intense awe and worship of that form, of the opulent form of the Lord. Devotees can only enjoy themselves with the Lord as long as they don't remember that he is the Lord. So Prabhupada writes that the playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, and the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. Why? Because they are so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. In the sense, their consciousness is just so dovetailed in a different relationship with the Supreme Lord in one of the four rasas, where they can have loving exchanges with the Supreme Lord, that they have to forget that he is the Supreme. Because the minute they remember that he is the Supreme Lord, then only Dandavat Pranam will be performed all the time. Only puja will be performed all the time. Only worship will be done all the time. So Prabhupada is quoting Shukadev Goswami's verse saying how much pious activities must have been performed by these young boys, Gopas, that they could play with the Supreme. They could play with that Supreme, that person who created this entire universe. They could play with him like he's just another ordinary person. So they had to forget that. The fact is that the devotee is not concerned with seeing the Vishwarupa, the universal form. But Arjuna wanted to see it to substantiate Krishna's statements so that in the future people could understand that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically presented himself as a supreme, but actually presented himself as such to Arjuna. So simple verbally, if the Lord says, I am the Supreme Lord, that's not enough for people in Kali Yuga. Even after the Lord shows his Vishwarupa Darshan and people read about it, even that is not enough for many, many souls. So Arjuna must confirm this because Arjuna is the beginning of the Parampara system. Those who are actually interested in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna and who follow in the footsteps of Arjuna should understand that Krishna not only theoretically presented himself as a supreme, but actually revealed himself as a supreme. The Lord gave Arjuna the necessary power to see his universal form because he knew that Arjuna did not particularly want to see it, as we have already explained. Arjuna is already seeing the two-handed form of Shyamasundara. Why would he need to see the cosmic form? But he's asking it for the benefit of others. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu writes, based on the commentary written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that the Virat Rupa form is not spiritual. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said, Virat Rupa is not spiritual, it is material, because it is about the universe which is material. By one definition, we can say that anything connected to Krishna is spiritual. That is from an application perspective. But from composition or constitutional perspective, there are certain things which are made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and certain things which are made up of Sat Chit Ananda. So that difference of matter and spirit always remains true. Other people around Arjuna had normal human vision. Then there is pure devotional vision, where one sees Krishna and understands that Krishna is God, who has concealed his divinity out of love. He has become charioteer out of love. This vision Arjuna has. So for Arjuna, giving Divya vision is actually downgrading his vision because he was able to see Shyamasundar form, the Parthasarathi form. So this is the vision of a devotee. A devotee is not just interested in display of power, and even God is not interested in that. Krishna in the spiritual world is not interested in this nature of display of his power. That all of you bow down to me, and that is the eternal ritual in the spiritual world. So in the Vaikuntha planets, Everybody is always doing puja and worship of Lord Narayana and Lakshmi Devi. But in Golok Vrindavan, there is no such thing happening. No puja is happening at all. Why? Because Krishna is too busy enjoying himself with his Gopa friends, with the gopis, with his parents, etc. Krishna is interested in reciprocating love with his devotees. And for that, he conceals his divinity, but sometimes he exhibits this to attract people. So Krishna has to do both. Sometimes he has to reveal his divinity to attract us. Sometimes he has to conceal his divinity so that we can have a closer relationship with him. So here Srila Prabhupada is quoting that the Lord is perceived differently by different people. But certain perceptions are favorable for devotional service. So the Virat Rupa perception is not favorable for intimate reciprocation. So if people don't believe in the Supreme Lord, but if they read the Bhagavad Gita and see that the Lord has shown his Virat Rupa form, they may get interested in approaching the Lord for any types of favors that they may seek. But the Virat Rupa form doesn't give you that feeling of an intimate connection with the Supreme Lord. So for such devotees, the Lord places them in the arena where he is having his intimate form. So the devotee is not very interested in seeing the Virat Rupa, but for the others, Arjuna is asking this special permission. Continuing with what His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu writes, that the Lord shows different visions for different purposes. So we could ask, this universal form was shown to others too. And some of them were not devotees. So why did the Lord show them this form? The universal form is a revelation, which essentially means it is something not normally accessible to us humans, but made accessible by divine intervention. How might that intervention happen? In many ways, all of which involve Krishna using his omnipotence to temporarily suspend the normal ways in which material nature functions. Let's consider some possible ways. First, Krishna may make himself visible in a form that our normal eyes can see. Second, he may empower our eyes to see something that they can't normally see. Third, he may empower us to see something that we can't normally see while suspending our normal vision of things around us. That could be figuratively called giving a different set of eyes. So, one is Krishna presents himself in such a way that our normal eyes can see him. Second, Krishna has to give empowerment to our eyes that normally doesn't see such things. The third thing is he has to suspend our current vision and substitute it with a new vision so you can see him. And that is what the third aspect is, what is being discussed in the 8th shloka. Krishna's revelation of the universal form to Arjuna does seem to fall in this third category, which means he has to remove Arjuna's existing eyesight that is able to see the Shyamsundara form and replace it with an eyesight that where Arjuna only sees the universal form and nothing else. While Arjuna was beholding the universal form, he couldn't see any of the normal things present on the battlefield. He just saw the universal form everywhere. How do we know that? Arjuna himself says, you are the beginning, you are the end. I don't know where you begin, I don't know where you end. There's the shloka in the 16th shloka where Arjuna will say, I can't see anything else, I only see this. In contrast, Krishna's revelation of the universal form in the Kuru assembly seems to fall in the first category. That revelation was seen not just by Duryodhana, but also by everyone in the Kuru assembly. Why this difference in the ways of revealing? Possibly because those revelations were meant for different purposes. In the Kuru assembly, Krishna's purpose was to avoid war. Through his fearsome revelation of the universal form, he wanted to warn not just Duryodhana, but also his supporters. If they saw the might of who would be on the opposite side, maybe they would stop Duryodhana. Hence Krishna's revelation to everyone. So it's interesting. So in the assembly, when Krishna was trying to prevent this war from happening, Krishna reveals his universal form and everybody could see it. So he empowered everybody to see what they normally cannot see, or rather, what their normal eyes could see. He revealed himself in that way. At Kurukshetra, while speaking the Gita, Krishna's purpose was specific, to persuade Arjuna to fight. Hence his revelation only to Arjuna. So this Virat Rupa was seen only by Arjuna. Of course, it was visualized by Sanjaya and it was also seen by the various demigods. Krishna gives Arjuna special eyes to see his universal form because revelation requires some special divine intervention. And this revelation was meant only for Arjuna. So you can understand now the different reasons why the Lord may choose to show his universal form and how the Jivatma that sees the universal form may also respond differently. This cosmic form was not seen in its entirety but was seen in the mouth of the Supreme Lord by Mother Yashoda. Not once but twice. So much so it bewildered her. She was thinking, who's this? Has some demon taken over my son? So, different reasons, different situations, and different moods of accepting this universal form is also seen. So, that's the essence of this shloka where the Lord is saying, I need to downgrade your vision because you already see me as Bhagavan. You have to see me in my feature as the cosmic form. Then I have to change your vision for you to be able to see it.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.